Appropriate, isn't it, that I've decided to put this into two parts? I'm only saying that because, okay, first of all, I do want to say that this movie did make sense to have it divided in two. I am stating that. Now, when we get to something like The Hobbit, probably. When we get to Breaking Dawn, well, let's just give that movie a chance, okay? Um, but okay, with this movie, I think that part one, they okay when you jump back into the part two, it does make sense because it really does feel like the second half. Like it does feel like, they cut it in the middle of the second act. Then we get to the third act, which is the Battle of Hogwarts. Um, there is some build up to it, but it's not as much as you've kind of gone from compared to the stuff that happened in part one. But let's get into it, okay? So, Rafe Fiennes. I believe I'm getting his name right. I'm sorry that I always get his name wrong. He really did make Voldemort. He put so much into this. A couple people I know were like criticizing him for kind of being a bit hammy and a bit over the top with some of his stuff. Okay, yeah, there's bits where he's like, yeah! But that was mostly in like Order of the Phoenix. There's not so much of that here. He's really driven into the action, which I thought made him all the more, this is a guy, he's called the Dark Lord for a reason. People are scared of him for a reason. They're afraid to mention his name for a reason. And they made that here. Actually, the thing that I noticed was, and maybe it was just because of his bald head and because he's playing a villain, there's a couple of bits where... Sorry, there's a mosquito in here. There's a couple of bits where I noticed some mannerisms. And this is actually ironic because I also do Smallville reviews here, where I noticed he's a little like Michael Rosenbaum in a couple of the mannerisms. And I saw just a couple that made me think, yeah, I can kind of see it here. There wasn't a lot, but, there was a couple where I'm like, I'm thinking about Michael. I don't know why. And let's get into... and by the way, there's one bit at the end of this video where I'm going to talk about the biggest thing that kind of annoyed me the most. Harry, when he gets the Elder Wand in the end, and now we're going to talk about the Elder Wand too. He gets the Elder Wand, but he doesn't use it to repair his old wand, because as you know in part one, it snapped. What he does instead... They're standing on the bridge to Hogwarts. Snaps it in half. Chucks it over the chasm. Now, yes. It's a thing of unspeakable power. You don't want it to fall in the wrong hands. But I think the reason that Harry repaired his own wand with it wasn't just so he can go expecto patronum whenever he wants. It's not so he can turn chocolate frogs into lavenders or whatever. It's because the wand is basically a manner of protection for any wizard. And I think the reason that he probably repaired his wand... they never stated this in the books, but let's, think about this for a sec. I think the reason he repaired his wand with the Elder Wand is because it's, as they stated, very difficult to repair wands for some reason. But the reason I think he did it is because there's still surviving Death Eaters who will probably say, hey, you killed our boss, let's kill you! Okay, but, let's chuck the Elder Wand over the bridge. Yeah, and granted, I think I know why they decided against this, because they say, oh, Malfoy's wand is yours now. But wouldn't it be kind of, honorable for him to say, oh yeah, Malfoy, here's your wand back? You know, showing that he's not as much of a tool as Malfoy is. I'm just saying, like, you know, okay, maybe he's also thinking you've been a dick for the last 7 years, and I'm keeping your wand. But that came to me later. That was where I was kind of like, that's why I kind of dropped my hands and said, oh, so that's why he's not repairing his wand. But yeah, I was kind of thinking at the same time, what the heck? Why would you not take advantage of repairing your wand? And instead just think, oh yeah. Oh wait, I could have used that to repair my wand. Where did I throw it again? Can we get a flashlight? Can we send somebody down there to go get that thing? Because I'm probably going to need it again. Oh wait, I snapped it in half too, so we're kind of screwed. So yeah. And, two things I want to... Oh, okay, first thing I want to mention about the Elder Wand is, with the Snape death scene, I think the reason in the book that Nagini kills... And Nagini does finish Snape off. Well, she doesn't, you know, bite him until he's dead, but, you know, she makes sure that he's gonna die, because Voldemort slashes his throat with the Elder Wand. And that's where I'm kind of like, wait a second. If the Elder Wand isn't allowed to kill its true owner, which, well... Actually, no, wait, that should make sense, because shouldn't Voldemort be thinking, wait, if this thing won't kill its true owner, why would I use it? In fact, if I slash Snape's throat, shouldn't that prove to me, oh wait, he's not the true owner of the Elder Wand? I don't know. I think that probably should have made a light bulb appear in Voldemort's head and think, hey, maybe I was wrong. Oh, and I just killed my, you know, most trusted ally. Oh, crap. And yeah, so there was bits where I was like, I guess now it does make sense, but, you know, they kind of imply in the books that Voldemort is sometimes a bit of an idiot. And, okay, with Luna Lovegood, there was a bit in this thing where, you know, everybody kind of looks at Luna like, she's nuts. This, like, okay, I love Luna Lovegood, don't get me wrong. Ever since they, like, I believe it's Evanna Lynch, who's, the actress who plays her. I loved it. Like, she is perfect in this role, and ever since Order of the Phoenix, I've been on the edge of my seat with her scenes. She's been just awesome, and she's owned the role. But the thing, and there's a moment here where, you know, Harry's like running up to go find out where the diadem is, and she's like, Harry, listen to me. He's like, no, 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 go away, crazy lady. Harry, listen to me. Yeah, rambling about Nargles and all that crap. She's like, Harry Potter, you listen to me. And he kind of steps dead in his tracks. He's like, holy crap. I like that scene because, you know, everybody's always kind of looked at Luna like, yeah, she's kind of lost her luggage on the Hogwarts Express. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, but I like that because it really shows her, yeah, she may sound like she's nuts, but there's a method to her madness. Okay, and another point I want to add is Lavender Brown. There's this one bit where, okay, she's basically got a cameo in this, where Fenrir Greyback, I think he killed her. I'm serious. She's lying there, like, eyes open, her mouth, like, blood or saliva off the side of her mouth, lying on the ground, probably not breathing, and a werewolf standing over her. Put 1, 2, 3 together. You know, like, I'm just like, why did you kill her? I don't know. I was just like, the only thing that kind of bugged me is that the only reason I was kind of like, why did you kill her as opposed to anybody else, is because I'm like, are you really just killing her because she was Ron's ex-girlfriend? You know, just to kind of seal the deal that once he's kissed Hermione, That's it. There's no chance that he could possibly fall in love with somebody else. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like, if you've seen 2012, where the mother's boyfriend, he gets, eaten up by the gears. Why did he die? Because we have to tie back the ex-wife and ex-husband back together, because true love wins out in the end. It's just so like, let's kill them because we don't want to interrupt anything that the fans want. Like, that's like saying every time that I break up with a girl, she has to die. Like, that's just friggin' kind of cold, And the one point I want to definitely talk about here is Harry's resurrection. Big, gaping plot hole. And okay, I know in the book that it is explained how Harry comes back to life because Voldemort used his blood to resurrect himself. Now, think about that. Okay, imagine I didn't say any of that. Imagine I haven't mentioned anything about what happens in the book, okay? You walk into the theater. Harry has been struck by the killing curse. The killing curse. Not the sometimes kills curse. Not the, just happens to choke the air out of you curse. Killing curse. And he just wakes up like 5 minutes later and pretends to be dead. How? How, I ask? Like, they never explain it. Okay, he explains how the Elder One is somehow his afterward, but nobody comes to him and says, how did you pull a Jesus? Really? How did you survive? Nobody asks. Okay, maybe Voldemort asks, he's like, why do you live? But nobody asks. At all. Nobody questions it. Oh yeah, a guy comes back from the dead every day at Hogwarts. It's, a Friday. That's just what happens. That was the one thing that, okay, yes, I know how Harry survived. Anybody who read this book knows how Harry survived. But aside from the fact that, yes, he's the protagonist, we can't kill the protagonist. You can't just go on that logic. You have to explain stuff. You can't just say magic and let that be the end of the conversation. Even J.K. Rowling didn't get away with that. So yeah, that was the one part where I was like, yes, I know what happens, but from the perspective of somebody who didn't read the book, and you cannot say, just go read the book. That's not a fair enough excuse to somebody who's like, wanting to see the film adaptation. It's called adaptation for a reason. You can't just do that. It's not cool. So yeah, from the perspective of somebody who hasn't read the book, you're kind of sitting there thinking, wait, how did that happen? Other than that, though, it was a really good movie, and I'm so glad that they were able to give it the respect that it deserves. Granted, there was a couple of scenes, like I mentioned, that I really wish they could have added, but that's only to make it more of an emotionally interesting experience. I think that bits and pieces here could have added to make it more interesting. It was okay, but by no means. Okay, this movie did move me. Like, there was bits where I was like on the verge of tears. So don't think that I walked away like, with a stone cold heart. This movie was good. And I'm glad that I was able to see it and see it in 3D. So yeah, if you're gonna check out Deathly Hallows, I recommend it.